Welcome to this evening's live session for P3, and this evening we are going to be talking about a number of different issues. We're definitely going to be talking about marketing, we're definitely going to be talking about business processes, human resource management. We may get a chance to do, I'm not entirely sure yet, we'll see how we get on. If we don't get to finish it tonight, then we've got plenty of time to do it on Thursday, on our next session. So I can see some people have been talking to each other about the mocks, particularly Sheetal, I am referring to you. I think I actually marked your mock this afternoon, I seem to remember, Sheetal. So just before we start looking at marketing and business processes, can I just tell you a couple of things about the revision mock that you guys, I think most of you guys have done it. If you haven't done it yet, it will be a good idea to do it. I'm not sure whether we will be able to mark it because I think you may have missed the date for it, but still doing it is going to be useful. The mock is deliberately difficult. I have marked quite a lot of the mocks so far from you guys and from various other groups. Not that many people have passed, and that's deliberate. I wanted people, I cannot see the point in having an easy mock that everybody passes and thinks, oh, the exam's going to be really simple, and then the exam turns out to be really difficult. So I'd rather make the mock particularly difficult, and then hopefully the exam itself on the 9th of June will seem easier. So the idea behind the mock, they say, it's to make it tough. So on the scripts that I've been marking, I've been putting some comments in so that hopefully people can see how things are getting, see what mistakes people have made so that they can make things a little bit better and be guided by those. The most important thing when you're doing the mocks is, first of all, put some numbers in. Lots of students didn't. Second of all, make sure that you don't write too much. You don't really get any marks for just repeating what's in the scenario, so don't repeat very much of it in any one point. Don't just write out an entire paragraph. So if you're going to put things in from the scenario, you need to say why they matter. So those are really the points that I've emphasised on people's scripts that I have marked, but it is deliberately designed to be difficult so that hopefully the real one will be easier. Good evening, Bibiana. Bibiana I met on one of my courses, in case you think I'm being friendly to some people and not to others, but Bibiana was one of my evening class students, so welcome, Bibiana. So the plan then this evening is we're going to talk about marketing, we'll talk about business processes, and as I say, if we get time, we are going to talk about HRM, but we will just see how we get on. So, the first thing to bear in mind, talk about marketing. Now, can I just remind everybody, before we get started on marketing, of where we got to at the end of last time? Because I think it's about a week and a half since I have seen all of you. So where we got to last time. Where we got to last time was we talked about strategic analysis. Just going to change that pen. That's a bit too thick. There we go. We talked about strategic analysis. That's better. And we talked about strategic choice. And if you remember, strategic choice is all about, is it suitable? Is it feasible? Is it acceptable? And strategic analysis looks at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, so we can see if it's suitable. It looks at things like liquidity and gearing. We look at the financial analysis to see if it's feasible, and I haven't left myself enough room here. We looked at stakeholders, and stakeholders would tell us if it was going to be acceptable. So that's what we did last time in the last two sessions that we were together. We looked at the analysis and we looked at the choice. Tonight, we are going to be looking at strategic implementation. Now, what this basically means is you have already decided what your strategy is going to be. You have already made a choice. So the strategic choice stage has been done. What we now need to do is we need to make sure that we implement it properly so it's got a chance of being successful. Now, this means that you tend to get these questions in question 2, question 3 and question 4, because in question 2, 3 and 4 you often don't really know very much about the company strategy. You don't really know if they're a product differentiator. You don't really know if they're doing market development. You often know very little about them. But what you do know about them is that they want to make as much profit as they can, or if it's something like a charity, they want to make the best use of the resources that they can. So they will want revenue to go up and they will want costs to go down. And that's what marketing and business processes and HRM is all to do with. It's all to do with getting your revenue up and making your costs go down. So it doesn't matter what strategy you're doing. So as long as you can make your revenue go higher and your costs go down, you'll make more money. So, marketing. Most of you will be familiar with the idea of the 4 Ps. Hopefully, most of you are actually familiar with the idea that there's actually 7 Ps if you are talking about a service company, a service industry. They have to do all 7 of these, whereas if you've got a manufacturing company, they only have to do the top 4. But same thing. Now, excuse me, the most important point when we are talking about the marketing mix is actually not in the marketing mix at all. It's in the bit above it. Market segmentation. That is the most important point as far as the marketing mix is concerned. Because what you must do is you must be very, very, very specific about exactly what the company does. And this is where most students go wrong. They're too vague about what the company actually is doing. So one of the things that I ask my classroom students is I will say to them, what exactly is it that LSBF does? What's it that we do? And we normally start by getting things like education. Well, LSBF there's lots of bits of education LSBF has nothing to do with, so be more specific. So what we then end up is we talk about training people to pass professional exams. But we don't really do that either, because we don't do marketing exams. There is the Chartered Institutes of Marketing. We don't do that. There are various professional bodies to do with being a lawyer. We don't have anything to do with those. What we do is we train accountancy students to pass their professional exams. And even then, we don't do all the qualifications. We only do 2 of them. We do CIMA, which you may have heard of, and ACCA. There's other qualifications like the Institute of Chartered Accountants. We don't do that. There's the Institute of Public Finance Accountants in the UK. We don't do that either. So we are very, very specific about what we actually do. Now, that's how specific you need to be in your answer. What exactly does the company do? Not only that, but what exactly is the market segment it's aiming at? So, for example, the reason that you guys are watching this broadcast this evening is that you presumably are unable to get to a classroom. You would rather have some way of interacting with me rather than just watching the videos that we've prepared for this course, because obviously this course is available just as videos only, but then you can't ask me any questions. So we are looking at students around the world that want to have some interaction with the lecturer but can't get to a lecture room. Obviously, for a lot of you, it's because you're in a different country. Now, that is very specific. And so that means we will now be able to do a much better marketing mix than if somebody just said LSBF, they're in education.